Are you someone who's thinking to yourself right now, it's impossible for me to make a 5x, a 10x, maybe a 20x or more on my altcoins? I don't believe it. I don't trust it. It's not going to happen. And you're panicking. Well, this video is going to serve, I think, as a beacon for many people because I'm going to explain why it isn't just possible, but it's more than likely that many of these altcoins will see massive amounts of gains in this bull run. So wake up. This is something you need to know right now. So you've probably heard a few people these days saying, hey, altcoins can't 10x, can't 20x, and they definitely can't 50x. They may even say, especially the ones that are in the top 100 or top 50 or even top 20. And I mean, I can't blame people for thinking that because when you're looking at these coins, what you're thinking to yourself is, in order for Solana to go up a 2x, the market cap has to be around about $160, $170 billion, which means it's going to have an extra $87 billion invested in it for it to move up a 2x. So it's very easy to believe a coin that you might like. For example, I love ICP. For it to not go up to a 50 billion market cap, because for it to do that, it has to have an extra $47 billion of market cap invested in it. And you begin thinking to yourself, how is that really possible? You want to believe it, but again, is it possible? So hang in with me, let's break it down. But first of all, again, I want to give you guys context here and say, Ethereum went up 50% in a single week. Let that sink in. A coin that is worth hundreds of billions of dollars went up 50% in 7 days. And that wasn't an alt season, by the way. That was just the coin rebounding from lows versus Bitcoin. And all this came on the back of very minute interest in crypto. I mean, if you look at the crypto search term on Google Trends here, I just wanted to show you guys this because at the highs, we only had about 60% of the interest in crypto than we did back here in May of 2021. And just to give you some context as well, we haven't had alt season. We haven't had a period in which crypto has gained any sort of mass interest at all. So all the money floating around Ethereum and the gains we've seen on some of our altcoins so far have come with literally a maximum of 60% of the interest that we had from back at the highs of the last cycle, which means that all the gains and all the momentum we've so far seen is just the residual effect from users from the last two cycles. That means it's old money. So first of all, I think multiples, like I'm talking about a 5 or a 10 or a 15x, maybe even a 20x on some of these top market cap altcoins are most definitely possible just based on the fact that we're likely going to see around $8 to $12 trillion worth of the crypto market cap right now. And as it currently stands, we are only at about 3.3 trillion. So we could possibly have around a 3 multiple of where we are right now, which means that if the cycle continues at the rate it is and we go to a 10 trillion market cap, we can expect in just the top 90 coins, so excluding the top 10 coins, roughly at the highs, about $900 billion invested in these coins. So of course, the rough math on that would be about $10 billion for each of the top 90 coins. So I need you to understand that we have a lot of potential money on the sidelines if this cycle does proceed to play out as per normal, which I think it's too early to say it won't. But all that aside, looking at a chart like this, I just wanted to show you how quick and easy even these top ranking market cap coins like Binance Smart Chain was in the previous cycle, or BNB, because this coin did early on in December or late December pump up a 2.5x very, very quickly. It fell down about 76% thanks to, of course, the pandemic crash. It went from a 4 billion market cap to a 1.5 billion market cap, so it erased most of the gains it had. And then you can see it went sideways for around 114 days before most people would break even again. It wasn't until a full 200 days later where it was at previous highs, okay, back over here, and then it still went up a 26x from those local highs. So it went from a 4 billion market cap at 26x, okay, to roughly 110 billion market cap, or at least the price 26x. So altcoins definitely have it in them, even the large caps. But let's crunch some numbers very quickly because you need to understand this. Because let's face it, most altcoin holders do not know what I'm about to tell you. They don't know it And what does that mean? That means that they prematurely exit the market or exit coins. They do not understand that these coins can seriously go up very quickly and without much liquidity. What do I mean? Well, take a coin here like Beam. Beam is a infrastructure gaming altcoin. Most of you should know it. Now, I pointed out on videos I made when the market was coming down in these moments that for this coin to go up to a goal of 40 cents, just for example's sake, right? Well, it fell down to half a single cent. So for it to go to 40 cents, it has to 80x. But if you then take that perspective and think, well, if the coin 2x's, like you can see here, that 80x literally halves, okay? So that 80x becomes a 40x. Now, 40x is still pretty unrealistic, yes, okay? But if that coin then goes up a little bit more, so from the 5 or half a cent mark, it goes up a 3x, it's 27x. Matter of fact, if it goes up back to its local highs, like BNB did in the same or similar situation from the pandemic in the previous cycle, it's only a 10x. Now, I'm saying this because these moves can happen very quickly with not as much market cap or liquidity as you may think. Now, I'm not here to provide hopium. I'm not here to lie to you. I'm not here to say, hey, yeah, aim for 40 cents or aim for $1 million on Beam. I'm not here to do that. What I'm here to do is just give you some understanding that it doesn't take much for these coins to get back up to the previous local highs and then continue to the same multiples we were expecting before. So here's where things gets crazy, and this is why I've made this video. What I'm about to talk about here is how much money is actually required to move these coins like Beam, going back from half a cent to 1 cent or half a cent back up to its local high here of about 4 cents. Okay, so here's how it does this. It doesn't require the coin like Beam to go from where it is now at, let's just say 0.7 cents up to 1.5 cents, so basically a 2x. It doesn't need the market cap to 2x like I gave the example before with Solana, where it needed to go up to a $160 or $170 billion market cap. What happens here and how it calculates is with depth. So plus 2% and minus 2% depth. Now, I'll save you the boredom. All that pretty much means is that in order for the price of Beam on Binance, particularly this Beam X/USD pairing, to move this up 2%, so the price up 2% on this pairing on this exchange, you need $93,000. Now, if you look at all of the different exchanges here, okay, at least the top 10 are the most important, and you tally up how much money is required on these exchanges to move up the coin universally 2%, you get a pretty good idea of, roughly speaking, how much is actually required to move the coin up a 2x. That's why down here, I've highlighted this little column. What this column here actually shows is how much money is required to move the price of Beam up from where it is now at about, again, 0.7 cents up to, again, you can see here, 1.5 cents, okay? So to do that, and to bring the market cap up to 770 million, which is a 2x from where it is now at 384 million, okay, you only need about $11 million. You don't need an extra $380 million. You only need $11 million because, again, it works here on the depth. It works on how much money is actually required to move the price on exchanges. So let's keep it simple here and say it's going to be an even amount to move the price up. So for a 2x from the current price, you only need 11 million. And let's say, for example, to move the price back up to its local highs, right? Again, roughly speaking, about 4 cents, or we've got here about 6 cents, that's this price over here, okay, around about 4 cents. So for Beam to go back up to this price, basically speaking, you only need about $66 million. Okay, now I say only for the fact that the coin will be a market cap of around 3.1 billion, 66 million from the current price is not that much money, guys. So you don't need an extra, whatever that would be, roughly speaking, $2.7 billion for that to happen. You need 66 million. But as some of you may have already guessed, well, that's not likely to happen because as the a price moves up, as Beam gets more attention, some of these order books and the depth begins to change. It's harder to move the price up. So you can look at a coin like Beam here, not requiring all that much money to move the price up. Whereas if I go back over here to Solana, or let's look at a coin that's more akin to roughly where Beam could go. So let's look at Ondo, for example. Okay, so Ondo has, much more liquidity floating around these order books. So you can see here it requires a lot more money to move the price up on these 10 exchanges, 2%. So we can't apply that same thing for Beam all the way through to, again, an 8x, whatever it may be. So if we come down here, we're going to account with some moderate sell pressure and as the coin begins to expand. So rather than 66 million, it might be something like 79 million, or I would dare say, adding a bit of slippage in, it might end up being around 100 or 110 million. But all I'm trying to say here is you do not need $2.7 billion to multiply Beam in 8x. What you need is something far less, which means the idea in your head that, hey, we have to have all this money flow back into my coin for it to 8x or 5x. It's just not true. Let's take this example one step further and look at a larger market cap coin here. Now we're looking at Near Protocol. So Near Protocol's current market cap is around about $3.6 billion. So about a 10x larger than Beam. So what's the numbers we're chasing here? Well, we're also looking at the unlock schedule for Near, because a lot of you guys know a little bit about token unlocks. So in this case, you can see here that we do have tokens unlocking for Near Protocol. Now, we actually pull in via an API all the information from that page into this page here, which is our custom-built token unlock schedule tracker sheet in the private community. We track everything. We actually give you guys 2 scores here to assess whether a cryptocurrency has a good or bad token unlock schedule. I actually forked out $10,000 myself to have this professionally built, and it's all free for you guys, as well as many other things, of course, in the private community. But I want to take your attention to the very, very end of this sheet here, which gives us 3 important values: third-party, project-owned, and other unlock schedules from now until the end of this year. What does this mean? Well, I'm only concerned with third parties getting their tokens between now and the end of the year, which means any tokens that are coming out over the course of the next, let's just say 6 to 8 months, in my personal opinion, as long as they are going to anyone apart from the team, investors, or anyone for that matter that can sell the token whenever they want, I'm okay with it. In this case, though, we have about 13.5 million tokens going to the core contributors, which is the VCs, people who will likely sell into bullish pressure, right, or to bullish momentum. So this means that now when we assess a coin like Near Protocol and we have a look into how much money it may require to move the coin, we have to now factor in, okay, some of this. This is going to be sell pressure. As a matter of fact, what will also be sell pressure is likely a lot of this, okay, the current distribution as well. So what does this mean? When we look at, again, the math requiring how much money will need to be, roughly speaking, and this is not accurate, but roughly moving the coin up, we need to factor this in, as well as factor in any of the basic issues that may come up when trying to move the price up. Anyone else selling the coin, for example, and taking profits, and the list goes on. Okay, so again, 3.4 billion market cap. What will require this coin to go up to roughly a 20x from the current price? The current price, again, if you didn't see, is $2.76. Roughly $3. Well, to make the coin go up a 20x or go to $55, that'd be a $67 billion market cap. You're thinking, my God. I mean, if you didn't know what I'm telling you in this video, you'd be thinking to yourself, Kyron, this coin is going to have $63 billion roughly invested in it. But really, again, accounting for a few different things, you only really need $3.8 billion. Now, that is why we look at the crypto market and think to ourselves, these are crazy valuations. And they are. But really speaking, this is how much money's had to actually go in, positive buy pressure, by the way, for the coin to move up. So you should be asking yourself, is it possible for Near Protocol to actually have an interest of $3.8 billion? Again, we're accounting for an increased difficulty in moving the price up based on token unlocks, based on regular folks selling as well. But let me tell you, do not let market cap confuse you in crypto, guys. Market cap is a completely fugazi number. Guys, market cap should only be used as price is used when it comes to these explosive altcoins, when they just go into price discovery. Okay? And that simply is a psychological number that people might say, oh, damn, this coin is overvalued. I better start selling it. What I mean is, I would personally look to sell my Solana if that coin ever hit 1 trillion market cap. That is a psychological barrier number. Market cap can be artificially pushed up, like I'm going to show you here with Pith Network, because the way that market cap is calculated is by taking the price and multiplying that by the supply. Okay, so the current supply of Pith is 5.7 billion tokens. Now remember, price is found, like I just explained to you, in terms of all these exchanges, the average price across all the exchanges. And as we know, you don't need as much money to move the price on these exchanges up as the market cap may make it out to seem. So what happens if you have the current price of the coin at, let's say, 12 cents like Pythia, and all of a sudden you have a whole bunch more tokens added to the supply? Well, those coins being unlocked aren't going to have an immediate sell pressure on the coin. They don't do that, okay? In most cases, at least. What happens here is when these coins are in circulation and then CoinMarketCap goes, oh, we have an extra 1 or 5 billion Pyth tokens in supply. We need to now do the price times the supply, and therefore the market cap increases. Okay, so why I'm saying this is because, again, many people believe that the market cap is a real true number. It's not. It's a fake number entirely, okay? The way it's found is fake because the way that price is calculated is not how you would think. And again, it's price times supply. And these guys, these founders of these projects can easily and quickly bump up the amount of tokens in circulation. So for example, Pyth right now is rank 95 on CoinMarketCap. You can see it right here. Its current market cap is $728 million. But as you can see from this unlock schedule, I think it was a few days ago, Pyth had a massive unlock where it went from 3.6 billion tokens to now 5.7 billion tokens in circulation. Okay, you can see here, again, 5.7 billion tokens are now in circulation. Well, what happened? Again, a few days ago, it was actually ranked 111 with a market cap of 566 million. Okay, the price actually went down. So this was 15 cents. The price is now 12 cents, yet the market cap actually went up. So how does that work? Again, the way that works is by how I just described to you. Price times supply. They added like 1.6 billion tokens to circulation. Therefore, that's how you get a larger market cap. So guys, I appreciate you sticking the whole way through. Key takeaways of this video is essentially market cap's a made up number. The number you should be trying to look at here is the depth on your particular coin. The larger the coin is, the more money it still needs to move, of course, but you don't need as much money as you think. Therefore, I believe a lot of these strong coins still have high potential to do some of these crazy multiples, even though the market cap, again, seems like it can't do that. And let me remind you, the market cap itself is just a fake number. It's price times supply. If you increase the supply, that equation is going to give you a larger market cap number. It is important to assess psychologically because, like I said, you're more likely to sell a coin at some of these large market cap levels, for example, like BNB at $110 billion or $100 billion, than you are to sell the coin at like $34 billion, okay? So use it like you would price with these psychological barriers in mind. Thank you all. Make sure you share this video, by the way, if you did find it useful and you think others should know about it as well. Hit that like button if you have made it all the way through, and I'll talk to you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.